Let's go to the phone and bring in Chris Farina, who has been the official photographer for Top Rank magazine since 1988. If it was a big fight in the last 40 years, 30 years, he's shot it. Chris, thanks for joining us.
How are you guys? How are you?
Doing great. So, of all the fights you've covered, where does this one fit on the hype scale?
Oh, this one is definitely one of the biggest fights in years. I mean, we're talking 10, 20 years, I would imagine.
I'm trying to think of what the last one would be. I've covered about 50 championship fights, and I was trying to think maybe De La Hoya and Pacquiao.
Well, surely the De La Hoya fights, back to the Tyson fights. I mean, but this one is huge. I mean, the excitement. It's Mandalay Bay right here, MGM and all. It's the fans are out. They're rooting for their favorite fighter, and this is going to be some fight week. Let me tell you that.
Chris, we know about boxers' strategy. What's the strategy of a photographer who's shooting this thing?
Well, you just got to try to get in there and get your shot, and you're competing with 50 other guys, and it's basically just trying to pre-plan and think where the action's going to be at that particular moment, and try to get there and anticipate it. That's all. It's all about anticipation.
So, Chris, do you study tape of the fighters, knowing where they like to be in the ring, and also where are you going to be? Are you going to be ringside?
Well, as far as I know, I'm ringside, and there's only a few of us in the entire world that will be ringside. I don't know how many, but I heard it's less than 10. So I know there were thousands and thousands of credential applications put in for this fight. So it's a privilege and an honor to be chosen. I tell you that. And I'm working for Top Rank Boxing, which is Bob Arum's promotion company, Top Rank Boxing, and they've had many champions throughout the years, and all the way back to Ali, including formerly Floyd and Pacquiao, of course, and De La Hoya and Cotto, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah, I would think Chris was probably there concentrating. He had his camera aimed at Evander Holyfield's ear, thinking that would be the spot where you'd want to take a photo. We had Les interviewed Bob Arum here on our set several months ago now, and Arum said the fight was going to happen, and Bob was absolutely right when he told that to Les Shapiro. Given all of the issues that have gone on between the two sides, two of the most famous sides probably in the history of boxing, are you somewhat surprised, though, that they have finally been able to pull this off, Chris?
Well, I mean, honestly, with me, there was a little bit of doubt, but I thought it would eventually happen. The question was when. So I'm just happy it came together, and I'm excited to be here and be part of it. That's about it. So.
I thought when he said this, and this is not really a question, Chris, but here's a piece of advice. I would aim my camera at the mat, because somebody's going to be down there. and you know, Chris, I think one of the most famous shots in boxing is Muhammad Ali putting his hands in the air as his opponent is lying on the mat.
Joe Louis. Not Joe Louis.
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's considered one of the most famous shots in boxing history, and it sort of summed up the whole fight that Muhammad Ali was the new guy. I mean, would you give me two or three that maybe you've done that you thought historically are meaningful?
Well, let me tell you, that was Neil Leifer's famous shot, the great legendary Neil Leifer with Sports Illustrated, Time Magazine. And, you know, he's a good friend of mine. In fact, he called me the other day and said, save a couple spots. I'm going to help him out the way, and then I'll see Neil on Friday. But a great gentleman, and we all strive to get what Neil got with Ali Liston shot. So, I mean, I've had a bunch of great shots. I suppose people say they're great, but I always strive to get the next best shot. I never try to think about what I just shot, and I'm always thinking to myself, I haven't gotten the shots of all time. So I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Chris, who have been your favorite fighters to shoot over the years? Give me the top two or three. Well,
I wish it was Marciano. I wish my favorite fight of all time was Rocky Marciano. I would have done anything to be one of his fights. But I mean, right now, Manny Pacquiao is my favorite fighter of all time. For me, covering with Top Rank, I mean, Manny and I are pretty close, and I get to just go anywhere I can with him, and he gives me great access, and just a great guy. And of course, you know, I've covered everybody else all the way back to Top Rank's archives. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's just tons of champions with them.
Was there ever anybody, Chris, that played to your camera, that knew you were shooting and played to it?
Oh, they all do, of course. I mean, play along with me, of course. Of course, many of the champions do. So,
well, you've been doing it since official photographer for Tom Bright, I think from the late 1980s.
Late 1980s.
Yeah. Boxing has died. You know, I'm making a generalization here. Do you think this fight can revive the interest because of the hype, because of the two champions that are fighting, or is boxing just destined to be now replaced by MMA and UFC?
Well, you know, I personally think boxing will always be around. I think this fight will definitely revive the public's interest. I think that this will get fans back on board who maybe hadn't seen the fight. I mean, I talked to some of my friends who hadn't watched a boxing fight in years, and they said, you know, we're interested. We're going to keep watching boxing, and especially with all the other TV channels and fights coming on. So I think it's got to be a plus for all of boxing.
We have a picture of you and Pacquiao. It looks like either in a bus or a plane on our 70-inch screen, and I assume because you work with Top Rank and you have talked glowingly about your relationship with Pacquiao, how in the world is Pacquiao going to win this fight? And I'm not meaning that, how in the world is he going to do it? But I mean, how do you think he's going to win the fight? I'm assuming you think he's going to win.
Well, you know, Manny's got to be 100% and bring his A game, which I'm sure he will be. So I think, in my opinion, I think as long as he pressures them, and you know, Freddie Roach has great strategies all the time. He's a great trainer, Freddie Roach. And so I think as long as he keeps the pressure, he's got it. I mean, I personally think he can knock him out. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Chris,
that would be something if he can.
Yeah.
I don't see him winning by knockout. If I see him winning, it's because he outlasts him, he stays away from him, he is able to outpoint him. But I think a knockout by Pacquiao would be a popular outcome to that fight. Chris,
really appreciate your time. We're envious. We wish we were ringside along with you. Enjoy the fight and get a lot of good shots, all right?
Well, thank you, guys. A pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you were here, okay?
All right, well, thank you. Thanks for that sentiment. That's Chris Farina. He's the official photographer for Top Rank Boxing and has been since 1988. And that segment, sponsored by the Blake Street Tavern, 3 bars under one roof, 18,000 square feet, 60 HD TVs, and it's located just 1 block north of Coors Field. It is named Denver's best sports bar for 3 years in a row by Westward.